Hello, friends. I'm Eternal Reading. We're back again with another book tag with a few drinks. I'm not too drunk just yet. It's only my second. Wednesday night, different because I'm off tomorrow. I don't have to worry about going to work. So I've decided to have a drink tonight. That's the way things roll over here, you know. So I'm off tomorrow and decided to have a few whiskies, and I sat and played Resident Evil there, and I got to the bit where there's a big fucking huge tarantula jumps out of nowhere and scared the fucking shite out of me. And that's when I thought, we're done for tonight. So I decided this is probably a good time to do this tag, which is called the Historathon tag. Hold on, get my wee book. I wrote everything down. The Historathon tag. Historathon Ancient Cultures. Sorry. The tag is created by Jack of the Rambling Raconteur. Maybe pronouncing that wrong, sorry. But I was tagged by Mike from Bibliophile Bookscapes. There's quite a lot of people in our community, I think, has done this. I've seen it now doing the rounds. I've watched a few of them. It's a fun tag. It's actually quite fun. It's because they talk about the questions or the prompts are about ancient cultures, but it's not really all about books of ancient cultures. You know what I mean? I thought I got a bit worried when I thought Historathon. I thought, oh fuck me, I'm gonna have to really dig in the books here of all history to know stuff like really old novels. But it's not like that. So it's a fun one again, and I like doing them. I remember at the very start saying no doing these, and now look, I'm fucking flying at them because they're fun. And I'm glad. So thanks for tagging me again, folks, and we'll get to it here. Prompt 1, and I might stop it halfway and spark up a cigar. I don't know. But here we go. Question 1. The Romans. What book, writer, genres are your bread and circus? I was going to say bar there. Fuck. Now, I've brought a few books because now I'll just say, you know what I mean? I like to show things, and I've probably showed them before. But my bread and circus books, and it's because it's the novels that I've been reading since I started reading, pretty much, when I left school. And I just picked the ones that I'm on my shelf there that I could grab, but the hard editions that I like, you know. But Michael Moorcock, the White Wolf, I'm showing this book, but this represents fantasy. But more so sword and sorcery. Years ago it would have been big epic fantasy novels like your Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings. Well, not Lord of the Rings I still love, but you know, big epic stories, you know, 1,000 pages and all. But I don't really read that, so I'm more modern day fantasy. Say, I'm more sword and sorcery now, classical fantasy, and or more independent authors that write in the fantasy market. I'm not really reading as much modern day fantasy, I find, but sword and sorcery, we'll say. Old school, that's one of them, of 3. So we've got that representing the weird, and can I not show Lovecraft? That's another one. I'm always going to read that. I think I'll be reading Lovecraft and fantasy, sword and sorcery until I'm an old man. I'll be that wee man that hopefully I make it 80 odd. Hopefully I fucking make 80 odd. But if I've ever hit 80 odd, I might be that wee old man sitting there reading Conan the Barbarian, and quite proudly, you know, not fucking ashamed of it at all. Why should it be? But my other one is fantasy weird tales. Not so much horror, more just weird, and then SF. But the SF's not your big space operas, and no plot and space operas. It's more like, say, Philip K. Dick and the New Wave. I always go back to them. It's SF with ideas, these short novels, and makes you walk. You know, when you finish reading it, it makes you think, and makes you. You know, sometimes you don't even know what the fuck you just read. That sort of SF. That would be. I'll always go back to it, but I read a lot of literary now, like literary novels and classics, but I kind of jump between the literary novels, say Julian Barnes, Robert Bolaño, Mike or Cormac McCarthy. There's all that, but in between all that, I'll always have SF, fantasy, and weird tales mixed in, and I will forever. I don't think it's going anywhere. So that's the first question. The Romans. Hope I'm getting the questions right. Hope that's what it means. The Sumerians. Prop 2. What was a work you read years ago but still appreciate now? This was the first big work I've read. Sorry for jumping out of camera here, but I'm actually bending down just picking up books. But when I started reading, the first thing I ever read was The Malice and Book of the Fallen by Stephen Erickson, Canadian writer. It's massive now. I have said this before. My glasses are wonky, sorry, folks. It's massive now, but when I first read it, I think it was first published in UK in 1999. And I started reading it, I think, in 2000 or 2001. Something like that. And I remember I seen the first paperback, and it was my first sort of diving into books when I left school. But I still love it to this day, and I need to go back and reread them all. Or I did reread them, but I need to go back again, start from the start as an adult now and go through them. But what puts me off is the length and the commitment. It's 10 books, like, and there's even more. You've got Ian C. Esimon's series as well, which I've read, which is actually very good. He doesn't get as much praise and as much popularity as Stephen Erickson, but Ian C. Esilmont, he's not bad too. They've done well, like they've done it together. But this one is probably the one that sticks to me the most of a complete story of in this publication. And I used to read these big books and love it. Now I can't fucking do it. 1,170 odd pages, and I could have went through this in 2 weeks easy. No, I wouldn't even have thought much about it. But now I look at that and it scares me. But that's the way it is. But Memories of Ice is definitely one that stuck with me. I even to this day remember the story of the enemy army. They're like cannibals and all. The Panian Domin. It's a great fantasy series, and I read it when I was 16, 38 now, and I still remember it. I still appreciate it. I'll always say it's top class because it is top class. Like, it's brilliant. So it is. So that's number 2. Sorry if I'm dragging on here, folks. That's what I do. You know the score now on this channel. No editing and a lot of shite talking. Sure. Number 3, The Shang. What is your favourite non-example to pillory? Oh, this is like, I think Brian kind of explained this from the Crusty Codex. He says this is like something to hate on, And I picked 2. One people might get pissed off about. Actually, 2 people might get pissed off about, but I don't care. Here we go. The first one is a book that came out last year, and I thought this would be my first time tackling this brilliant, great author. And everybody praises him about being this great American author. I thought, fuck, I'll try it. And I went into the shop and I was like, couldn't find his book, and I thought, fuck. And the Aesons, fuck, they're long gone. Waterstones. And I went up to the counter again, and I was lucky. I wish she didn't have it. I wish she turned around and says we have none, and that would have been it. But she turned around and says we have one left, and it's on the window, out in the display unit in the window, because it's just a new book came out. And I was like, I'll take it. I don't care. Took it, read it, fucking hated it. I just struggled for the whole week reading it, like, and that is Thomas Pynchon's Shadow Ticket. I'm sure there's people now going, fuck me, like, that's brilliant. But no, folks, I could not get into this at all. It's his first novel that I've read, not the first novel he's written, this is probably his last. It's the first novel I've read, and I know what he's trying to do with the way the narrative and talking. It's like noir, a bit of comedy mixed in and all. And but to me, it was just nonsense. I just did not care. I didn't think there was anything gripping in it at all. I don't think there was anything worth wasting your time in. You know, and I know maybe it is going over my head. Like, I'm Northern Irish. Our politics is a lot different from America. You know, it is, and it always will be. And if this is like a political statement or something, maybe it's beyond my head. Maybe this is a great American novel for the American reader. We'll say that, but for me, it wasn't good at all, and it's put me off reading anything more from Thomas Pynchon. But saying that, please say in the comments and help me out, because I'm always open for trying again and trying different books. It maybe was just this book was not for me, and I can't tell that he was a great writer. Like, you know, he has a great way with words and all, and there's a few things he says that kind of stuck with me, you know. But it was just a struggle to get through to the end. And I like to read a novel in a week, and if it is big, like 500, 600 pages, 2 weeks, I like to stretch it out for the week. And fuck, I got to the end, or I think I got to like Friday, so it was, and I still had to read like 100 pages nearly, and it was like the hardest 100 pages I've read in a long time, you know, one of them ones. So yeah, shite, pish, as I said to another person one time. But the other one I want to bash a wee bit, and I used to love this author, and I used to read his stuff years ago when I was younger, and then when I got older and older, I kind of started to see that there was nothing in it as much, and a lot of it was the same. It's entertaining, I will say that. I find him more comedy. To me, he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh more than scares me, because of his writing style. It's funky. It's weird. It's fucking. It's. I wonder if you can guess who he is. He's a horror writer, and he's the biggest horror writer in the world. And to me, he's a comedy writer because it's funny. Like, it is funny as fuck. It's like a dark humor. I find that I read Stephen King, and I kind of laugh. But see, after a while, after when you read about 20 books, it's not funny anymore. It becomes kind of just empty. You start to realise it's you know, I don't know. I think I'm not lying like when I say I've read lots of his books. I've read all of Dark Tower, which I don't mind. Dark Tower's very good. I've read it, The Shining, The Stand. Oh fuck, I'm trying to think of more. There was loads of his short stories. Insomnia. I'm trying to think loads. But see, the more older I got, the more I struggled with Stephen King. And then now, if I was to pick up a Stephen King novel and start writing it or reading it, I'd never seem to go past 2 chapters. I don't know what it is, but there you go. I know Harold Bloom would be proud of me, but I'm not trying to prove anything. I just find that his writing style I outgrew it, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know if I outgrew it. It just got a bit weird for me. But I will say this again, he's entertaining. He is entertaining, like, and it is funny. But that's that one. So Stephen King and Thomas Pynchon shall take it. Fucking dragging on here, folks. Pump number 4. The early basket maker. Name an early work that points the way to other monuments. Now, I need to top up, but I'll show this one first. This is a work that was written in 1989 by this great author, Roberto Bolaño. It's called The Third Reich, and he wrote this in 1989, but he never published it. And when he died in 2003, I think it was, they went through his works and his papers and his manuscripts. I don't know if it was his family or his publishers or what, but they went through his work and his manuscripts, and they found this written novel, like complete novel. That he obviously didn't think. I imagine he didn't think it was good enough for publication, and so they decided. His family decided, because Robert Bellamy was passed away by this stage, to publish it anyway, and they released this, the Third Reich, and you can tell by reading this that great things were on the horizon. Because this is still a great novel. This is a man, in 1989, and he thought this was not good enough, and he threw it into the drawer, I think, and just says, fuck that. We're lucky we have it, and it is, to me, early work to show what was to come. But the weird thing about it is we didn't get it until after the Greats, so it's a bit weird, that one, but he did write it in 1989. It just, we didn't get it until late on when he passed away. But it was a great novel. Robert Bellamy was a great writer. There's something special about Robert Bellany's writing style that I love. But that's that one. So, prompt number 5. The Babylonians. What book did you expect to be impenetrable but found quite easy to sink into? Now, I've one that I thought of straight away, but I can't find it. It's gone. I know why it's gone, because I used to live in a house, me and my wife, and only had the one child at the time, Noah. And we lived in a house, and I put my books up into the top attic because there wasn't enough room. It was just a wee small house, and it was only the 3 of us. And young days, we were younger days, and I thought, well, she was saying, you can't keep all these books everywhere, fuck, and I actually got rid of loads because of it. I regret it now, but you have to at the time. But I threw some upstairs or up in the loft and up in the attic, and they got damp. And this book got really badly damaged, damp, warped, mouldy. And I had to dump it. I had to dump loads, but I don't have it. But that was Melmoth the Wanderer. I can't remember the boy's name now. He's an Irish writer. Melmoth the Wanderer. And I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be hard. Now, 1818, I think he wrote it. And it's all about religion and story within a story and all that. It's like Gothic, one of the first Gothic tales. And I remember reading about, when you before you buy a book and you look up and it's like, oh, this is really hard. No, it's tricky, but I loved it. I read the whole thing in a couple of weeks and thought it was great. I remember thinking at the end of it, what was hard about that? It's not hard. You just had to slow down maybe and let the writer take you on that journey, and Melmoth the Wanderer by, I think it's Robert Maturin. So don't take that as gospel, but another one, because I have the book, is the Iliad. And I'll just show this briefly. The Iliad was another one. I remember thinking, oh, the Iliad's big epic poem. Scary. I'll not get into this at all. But it depends the translation. It depends on the translation you pick. When I picked up the Iliad, I got a good translation for the first read years ago. And I can't mind the translator, but it wasn't too hard. It wasn't like that archaic, ancient one, like 1800s or even no earlier. But it wasn't Robert Fagles. I need to read him. And it was easy. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it from start to finish. I think it was book 2, book 3, the one where they talk about all the ships and all, was a bit tricky to get through because it was just too much names being said. But the Iliad is not as hard as what you think. Or the Odyssey. It all depends on the translation. You just had to do that. We don't go up for the cheap wee option for £2.50 fucking Wordsworth edition. You know what I mean? You think, oh, it's £2.50, I'm going to get the Iliad. See, when you're young and you're not really sure, you think, oh, it's cheap, I'll go for the cheaper option. But you're not thinking about the translation. You're sometimes better paying for that wee bit extra and getting a good translation for classic works or translated works or ancient works. You're better off paying that wee bit extra because you don't want to get the translations that are useless, or even the ones that are like, you get conned on the internet by buying books. They look like a Penguin edition. It looks like it, but it's cheap, and you think it's to trick you, and you buy it, and you bring it, you get it, and it's black and all that. But when you actually get it, it's not Penguin edition. It's a fucking knockoff. 250 piece of shite that's AI's probably wrote it now. You know that you had to be careful there, folks, because I've nearly got caught a few times. And once I got my first Wordsworth edition, and seen how fucking bad the covers were, like, and then when I read it, that's when I realised never again. So well, that's another video we'll maybe get into someday. The bad editions or the bad fucking cheap fucking knockoffs. But that's that question, and I'm gonna pause this because I'm gonna top up and have a cigar. Because why fucking not? That's us back, folks. We've got our cigar, we've got more whiskey. Oh. Cheers. And we're on prompt number 6. The Persians. How do you organise your bookshelf? And I write here, I don't. My bookshelf is a mess. I am putting things in just where I fit it, and falls over and all. It's a fucking mess, and then I'm changing things about. I find that I can be a sort of guy that I don't do anything like alphabetically order or anything, and then see if I want to find, see if I'm doing like this here video, and I need to find a few books. It's a fucking disaster because I'm pulling things out and things are falling and it's fucking cracking up, you know, because I can't get what I'm looking for. And I've got books all around the house, so if the wee shelf I have upstairs in my room, which you see sometimes in my videos, that's my bedroom. It's my wee corner where I game and stuff. And I have a shelf that's a TBR shelf, and then all the rest is just a fucking mess. And you see the cupboard you actually have behind me with the mirror and all. You think there's clothes in there? There's not. There's some clothes, but my wife cracks up with me, like she's fucking cracking up. I don't know what to do. I need to buy more bookshelves. But I have fucking books in cupboards, and I'd have books in like wee baskets and stuff in our room or in fucking even just everywhere. And it got to the stage where I watched a video about curating your library. So what I decided to do was go through a lot of my books and all the big hardback novel, or not the hardbacks, all the big paperback novels that over like 500 pages, which I won't read now probably. Going back years, fantasy, I actually put them out the back in a shed I have. As I said before, I've wrapped them up in cling wrap and put them in big plastic containers. But there's sometimes I'm doing some of these tags where I want to show the actual fucking book. I'm out hunting through the fucking cupboard, the shed, fucking lifting boxes and all. I look, it's just one of them things, isn't it? It's problems we have, big problems. But I'm trying to not. I can't organise it. I can't even organise it myself, for fuck's sake. But I try. My TBR is not bad. Everything else is just a disaster. But the books have been read, so who gives a fuck? That's the way I look at it. They're there, and they're still mine. You know, they're just not. It's just hard to find them. So that's number 6. Number 7. A Shango bone of the Middle Stone Age, Central Africa. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that means. I think Brian mentions that in his video more. How does the length of a work affect your reading experience? A lot. Now a lot. Never used 2 years ago, but now, big time. This actual book, The Three Musketeers, which a lot of us in the RB community is going to be reading here in April, which I'm looking forward to. It's the first time I've actually been looking forward to a big novel in a long time. So thank you very much, guys, for that. It's because I think I'm reading it with yous. But I'm hoping this is my big book curse break, as I says, because I haven't read a big novel in a long time. I like shorter, tighter work. I like to get as much as I can out of it with as little pages and words as I can. I'm not there just for the escapism like I used to be. If a novel can't tell me what it needs to tell me in 200 pages, I usually get fed up now. Which, as I said, never used to be, but it is what it is now. So I struggle. Number 8, the Huns. That's what they call us over here, you know. I'll not get into that. How do you read packed books while travelling? I don't really do much travelling, but when I do, it's just one book I bring or two. And if I'm going to work, which I bring my book to work, I just got a big bag and 2 slots, and I make sure my book's safe, not with the food. God forbid something leaks or something breaks and like opens. So I have it in a different compartment, and I bring my book into work, and I read it at lunchtime and break time. But I'll say this: the more that I've been diving in the booktube, I find that I'm on my phone more than I'm fucking reading the things, the books. So and work, even I've brought my book in, I'm maybe read a couple of chapters or a chapter, you know. But sure, it's still the same thing. I was talking about books. I don't mind that. Like, I enjoy watching your videos. You know, I don't watch TV, so I come home at night and then I'll read a couple of chapters. I'm happy enough with a couple of chapters a day. You know. So that's that one. Yeah, just one book at a time and make sure it's no mixed in with food and shit. Number 9. The Urination culture. Now, I don't know what that is, so if anybody in the comments can tell me what that is, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I can't even pronounce that. I hope I pronounced it right and didn't seem like a fool there, but sure. We're the underground tube, aren't we? Booktube. You get mistakes and all. We don't edit fucking shit out. But number 9. What are your favourite pop culture references to ancient cultures? Now, I really enjoyed this question, and I seen that question and my eyes lit up. Ping. I thought, oh yes, this is one for me. And I actually stepped back a bit. I had more, and then I thought to myself, I can't bring that many down, so I'll show you. And I was happy with this one. I went 1, 2, 3. I got 8 here. I did have about 15, and then I went, nah, I don't think people want to sit here fucking 15. I'm nearly half an hour in already. It's fucking disaster, but maybe that's what you people like. Maybe you like long videos. I don't know. I ramble, and see for tags and stuff. There's no much thinking of. They just go with the flow, and that's why I ramble even more. You know, and it fucking drags on. But mine's heavy metal music for ancient culture, and in heavy metal music, it's telling you stories of the past in an epic form. And if you like history, or give them a go. And I'll go through some of them because, as I said, I had loads, but this is a band, Judicator, and the album's called Let There Be Nothing. And this is a whole album based on the Byzantine Empire. And I can't mind the guy's name. If you see that artwork, it's an actual famous piece of artwork. Don't know if it's a mosaic or, but it's based in that character there. I can't mind his name, but it's about him and his wife and all. It's a whole album, heavy metal, based on his life story. And ancient culture. It's Byzantium, or it's maybe not ancient, but it's near enough. And then you got Vikings. You got to learn about Vikings. You listen to Bathory. Heavy metal, again, tells you all about the Vikings. Album's called Hammerheart. And this is my pop culture. Not pop, it's heavy metal, but it's where I get all this stuff. If I read my books and I love all this stuff, and like Vikings, fairy tales, and dragons, and horror, whatever, weird tales, Cthulhu, and all. Metal music. It does it in music form. You know, you're getting that other sort of art form for it. It's not just the written word. Iron Maiden, this Power Slave album, this is a classic. Like, this has got, now Iron Maiden's done a few. I actually got 2 Iron Maidens up, but Iron Maiden's got things about Alexander the Great and all, you know. But that's more about the fight, or the Egyptians. But they've got different ones in it, and you have Iron Maiden, that's their newest album, and there's also a song in this about the ancient Celts, so there's a lot of history in heavy metal music, and people don't realize that. People think, see, in America, heavy metal music's very, I don't know, not political, but you know what I mean, it's all about like a wee bit political. But see, in the European heavy metal market, or European heavy metal, it's more about storytelling, and I prefer it, like, you know. So there's another one, but that's an American band actually, but they're not famous in America, they play more in Europe, and that's got the Odyssey, and that's a bit of artwork for Odysseus trapped in this boat, and that song is 25 minutes long. People that love the Odyssey, even if you don't like heavy metal music, this is more like prog metal, please try it out, because I want people to find this stuff, because it's one of them sort of things where people don't try it because they think heavy metal music, that's not for me. But this is a 25-minute track, and it's not just metal, it's a masterpiece of music. I know that as a guitar player. There's a lot to this. So I would recommend anybody that's watching this and they've got this far, and they're interested in Greek mythology or the Odyssey as a story, please try out Symphony X, the Odyssey, the song The Odyssey. There's more like that. That's a big 25-minute epic. The first bit's all very classical music, but then once you get by that and the guitars come in, it's a work of art. It's absolutely a masterpiece. I mean, that album came out in 2002, and I remember when it came out, I had the pre-order and all. I still have it there. You know, it's fucking brilliant. So sorry, I know that's a book channel. I'm going off a bit metal music here, like, but that's just the way it is. That's the pop culture for the pop reference for ancient culture. And the last one, the Minoans, established a trade route. I like that question. Again, guys, just what I always do, friends. I don't like to tag folk because I don't know if people want to be bothered, or I don't want to put people on a spot. But I think there's a lot of people who's already done this, and the best thing to say is, if you've got this far and you haven't done it, or nobody's tagged you, you're tagged by me. If you watch my channel, you're all tagged. If you want to use my name as a reference for a tag, I'll be tagged by Eternal Reading, go ahead. I would love to watch, you know what I mean, I would love to watch your answers and your questions. If you're a small channel, or you're just a lurker and you're wanting to start YouTube, whatever, BookTube, and want to use that as your starting point, go ahead, go for it. I would love that, you know. This was all about, it's all about us being together as a community and friends, talking about books. I remember at the start I was, you know, starting up, and it was a bit, you know, didn't want to put my face out there. But I think I'm in now. I think my first video was in November. We're in March. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I really have. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm so glad I stuck at it. And another thing I'll say is, before I ship on here, this long video, we're over half an hour now, for fuck's sake. But thanks to everybody that stuck with me. I remember I was read on a comment there with the Shelf Learner, forget his first name, but I think his video's being fucking hijacked by YouTube, because he done this great video today talking about bots and how YouTube subscribes and losing subscribers and all. And since he done that, there's been no more views, bar 7 I think on my phone. And I read a comment, the comment hasn't came up, and it's not showing any likes, which I thought was a bit fucking strange. So maybe he's got a point there, you know. But what I'm trying to say is, I watched that and I realised, you know, I'm not here for the subscriptions, I'm not here for the likes, and I'm happy enough with, as I says, 50 subscribers, and if be it that, I've already done what I need to do here, and if I can get one person a year to pick up a book, it's worth it for me. So it is, because I'm in my work and I'm trying to get people to read, and there's not many people wanting to be bothered with it, and I'm trying to say, look, just try it, and they're not interested, except two. There's two guys that I know. But on that note, I may leavies, and I have another tag to do. I might do it tomorrow, I might do it on Saturday, I might do it next week. That's the one that JJ's given me. And all the best, everybody. Sorry for keeping you too long, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? Sorry.